Have you ever wondered how business owners or entrepreneurs have this kind of mindset where no matter what happens, some of them go through the darkest times and yet they're still able to come out successful. They're still able to hit their goals and achieve their biggest dreams. And that's what we're talking about in this video, the success-driven entrepreneurial mindset. How do you get it? How do you tap into that kind of mindset and that drive to be able to go out and achieve your business and financial goals? So let's go ahead and dive right into it. I know for me, I've been an entrepreneur for 5 going on 6 years now, and it can be tough sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. And if you're watching this video, you can probably agree. There are gonna be those days where you're inspired and you're motivated and you're like, yes, let's go ahead and get it. But there are gonna be a lot of days where you're not really feeling it. You don't feel as motivated. You feel like you're hitting brick walls and nothing is happening, or maybe you are getting results, but the results aren't where you think they should be right now. And it can really be a struggle, especially if you are just getting started and you really haven't made any money yet, or you don't see any big returns financially. It can be really tough. I remember a few years back, I actually got started in network marketing. I was in the travel agency niche. Starting off that business, granted, I have no complaints about network marketing. It can be a great business model. It doesn't work for everybody, but in my case, it was a great training ground to be able to start learning business and start to get into personal development, mindset growth, and all that kind of stuff. And I remember thinking one day, like, man, how can I do this, Because some days are up and some days are down, and you have to be able to show up day in and day out if you really want to get results. And that's what got me down the road of personal development. And man, I started off, the first book I read was Think and Grow Rich. That book changed my life, and I've read it now 4, maybe 5 times. And then I went down the rabbit hole of personal development, everything from Rich Dad, Poor Dad to, The Alchemist, and a bunch of books in between. But one of the books, or I should say mentors, that I ran into was Bob Proctor. Now, Bob Proctor, if you've never heard of him, he is no longer with us. May his soul rest in peace. But he taught the philosophy of how to really change and reprogram your mind, and how you can do that by understanding that your thoughts create the feelings that you feel, and then the feelings that you have dictate the actions that you take, and the actions you take dictate what you have. And you can do this by learning and being fully aware of your thoughts and your beliefs. And that's what I started to do and practice doing. One tip I have for you when it comes to developing a success mindset, especially if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, if you are an entrepreneur, is to be hyper aware of the thoughts that you're thinking, because it's our thoughts that actually control what we see in the world. See, our reality, at least what we think is our reality, isn't actually reality in and of itself. It's what we perceive reality as. But depending on your thoughts is going to change what reality looks like. For example, let's say you are having a bad day and you're in your car driving to work. Because you are having a bad day and you're thinking these thoughts of, oh, I'm late for work, or something you need to do later on, maybe a chore, maybe it was an argument that you got in, the night before. So now everything just seems to annoy you a little bit more. A guy cuts you off. All of a sudden you get enraged because you're like, why is this guy cutting me off? In reality, he might not even realize you were there. Or let's say maybe rushing because he has somebody in the hospital. He found out his daughter got in an accident, right? That's what's reality. That's what's going on. But because of how you're thinking, you form a picture, you form a story of how reality is actually happening in your own mind, and that's what you go off of. Now, vice versa, let's say you're having a good day. The guy might cut you off and you were like, whatever, you could care less, because you don't put those lens on the actual activity that you're seeing. And the same thing goes for our thoughts and our beliefs, especially when it comes to building a business. You could really think of 2 different things. You can think of the good that could happen, you achieving your goals, you hitting milestones, you becoming financially free, maybe paying off debt, traveling the world, whatever your goals are when it comes to business. And you could focus on the good things, even if they're small. If you're in content creation and you're not seeing results, but you're getting a couple of views here, or you're starting to get traction there, focusing on the good things is going to change the way you see your journey and the reality of your situation, versus focusing on all the bad things, the might haves, or this might happen, I might go out of business, and I might lose a lot of money. All of these things will then form a feeling in yourself, and that feeling is going to create lack. It's going to create procrastination. It's going to create laziness. It's going to create fear, anxiety. And because you're feeling that way, it's going to stop you from taking the action that you really need to take. And because you're not taking the action you need to take, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. reality, and you actually don't get the results that you are afraid not to get because you're actually not doing the work in the first place. So one thing I had to learn early on was learning how to manage my thoughts, learning how to be super aware of the thoughts that come in my mind and decide, is this thought serving me? If it is, great, let's keep it up. If it's not, then how can I check that thought and then be able to change it into a thought that is going to actually serve me? It even says in the Bible to take all your thoughts captive, and this is what you can do practically in your everyday life, and especially when it comes to your business. So start being super hyper aware of the thoughts that you're thinking. And then the second thing is you need to also be able to check your beliefs. What are you actually believing is going to happen? Because there are two sides of the coin. You can either believe that this is going to work, or you can believe that it's not. And your belief is going to form the thoughts that you're constantly thinking. And then the cycle repeats itself. Those thoughts are going to create feelings. Those feelings are going to create actions, or it's going to lead to certain actions that you either take or not take. And that's going to dictate what you do, which is going to dictate what you have. So check your beliefs. Do you actually believe this is going to work? Even if odds are against your favor and it looks like things aren't going to work, that doesn't necessarily mean that things aren't going to work. You're just looking at your present circumstance right now. You can't judge what may happen based off of the past mistakes that you may have made or past results that you may have gotten. You can't judge it based off of right now or what you can't see. But what you can do is you can put yourself in an ideal situation in your mind of what you would want to happen. What would you like to see in your business? What kind of things would you like to manifest and break into your life? And then focus and believe that you're going to actually achieve that. That's where faith comes in. But once you have that locked in, you have to take the action to then move towards in that direction. It may not be easy at first, but the more you practice believing in what you actually want, the more it's going to energize you, the more it's going to fuel you to be able to then actually take the action. So I really encourage you today, if you find yourself struggling with your mindset and you want to develop a success-driven entrepreneurial mindset, these are two things that you really want to do. Realize and audit your thoughts. And then secondly, check your beliefs. Check the ideas and the thoughts that you're constantly accepting every day. And if they're not currently serving you right now, then work on changing it. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you like this video, make sure you check out this video right here, how to actually change your old habits and rewire your brain. And I'll catch you in the next one.